Here's something nobody tells you at checkout: a big chunk of what's sitting on those garden center racks right now won't make it to Labor Day. It's not because you're bad at this. It's because the tags don't warn you, the staff is rushing, and half of what's for sale was grown for a greenhouse, not your backyard. Today I'm walking you through 17 perennials that shrug off heat waves, skip weeks of watering, and still show up year after year like nothing happened. Stick around for the one near the end that actually rewards you for leaving it alone. One quick thing first. Before we jump in, tell me where you're gardening. Drop your state in the comments, or better yet, your hardiness zone if you know it. It matters, because tough in Phoenix looks different than tough in Minneapolis, and I'll flag which of these plants care about that and which genuinely don't. Alright, let's count down. Plant 17, Russian Sage. Starting at 17, Russian Sage. This one throws up silvery stems and lavender blue blooms all summer, and it genuinely prefers soil on the leaner, drier side. Rich soil actually makes it flop over. Give it full sun, walk away, and it turns into a 4-foot cloud of color by July. Pollinators love it, deer generally leave it alone, and it comes back reliably down to zone 4. Plant 16, Purple Coneflower. Number 16 is the purple coneflower, or echinacea if you want the fancy name. This is the plant that keeps blooming through drought stress that would flatten most flowers. It's also one of the few perennials that still looks good when you stop deadheading. The seed heads turn into a buffet for finches in fall. If you want fewer chores and more birds in your yard, this earns its spot. Plant 15, Sedum. 15, Sedum, sometimes called stonecrop. This plant stores water in its leaves like a little succulent, which means mist watering doesn't faze it at all. It actually struggles more from too much attention than too little. By autumn the taller varieties turn a deep rust color that holds all the way into the first frost. Plant 14, Yarrow. 14 is yarrow. Flat clusters of tiny flowers sit on top of feathery, almost fern-like foliage. It spreads on its own, tolerates poor rocky soil, and honestly does better when you don't fertilize it. Too much feeding makes the stems weak and floppy. If your soil is rough and dry, yarrow treats that like an invitation. Plant 13, Lavender. 13, Lavender. This is the plant most people kill with kindness, specifically, overwatering. Give it excellent drainage, full sun, and minimal fuss, and it rewards you with fragrant purple spikes for years. In colder zones you'll want a hardy variety, but once it's established, it barely asks for anything. Plant 12, Black-Eyed Susan. 12 is Black-Eyed Susan, and this is the one I promised you at the start, the plant that genuinely looks better the less you fuss over it. Deadheading is optional. Extra fertilizer just makes it leggy. Cut it back once in late fall, and that's basically the entire maintenance list. It self-seeds happily, so one packet can turn into a whole colony within a couple of seasons. Plant 11, Catmint. 11, Catmint. It forms these soft, spilling mounds of blue lavender blooms from late spring straight through summer, especially if you shear it back once mid-season. It handles poor soil, reflected heat off pavement, and long dry stretches without complaint. Bonus, your cat will probably enjoy it too. Plant 10, Daylily. 10 is the daylily, about as close to indestructible as flowering perennials get. Each bloom only lasts a day, but a mature clump throws out new flowers constantly through the season. It tolerates poor soil, road salt, and total neglect. If you've got a rough patch of yard nothing else survives, this is usually the fix. Plant 9, Coreopsis. 9, Coreopsis. Bright, cheerful, and it actually blooms more when the soil is a little on the poor side. Rich soil pushes it toward floppy foliage instead of flowers. It's a great filler for that spot in your yard where nothing else has ever thrived. Plant 8, Salvia. 8 is Salvia. Tall purple spikes, long bloom time, and hummingbirds treat it like a landing strip. It handles heat and dry spells with ease, and a mid-season trim usually triggers a second flush of blooms. Plant 7, Ornamental Grasses. 7. Ornamental grasses, think feather reed grass or little bluestem. These are essentially maintenance-free once established. No deadheading, no feeding, and they add movement and texture that flowers alone can't give you. Cut them back once in late winter, and that's the whole routine. Plant 6, Agastache. 6 is Agastache, also called hyssop. It's aromatic, drought-tough, and butterflies swarm it from midsummer through fall. It actually prefers being left a little dry over being pampered. Plant 5, Gaillardia. 5. Gaillardia, or blanket flower. This one thrives in gravel, sandy soil, and full blazing sun, conditions that would wipe out most flowering plants. It blooms in these warm red and yellow rings almost non-stop through summer. Plant 4, Penstemon. 4 is Penstemon. Tall, tubular blooms that hummingbirds and bees both go after, and it's remarkably tolerant of rocky, dry, low-nutrient soil. Overwatering is really the only way to hurt this one. Plant 3, Ice Plant. 3. Ice Plant. A low, spreading succulent that turns bare, rocky slopes into a carpet of vivid pink flowers. It needs almost no water once it's rooted in, which makes it perfect for the spot in your yard where the hose never quite reaches. Plant 2, Sea Holly. 2 is Sea Holly. Striking, thistle-like, steel blue flower heads that look almost architectural. It's built for dry, sandy, even salty conditions, which makes it a favorite for coastal or xeriscape gardens. Plant 1. And that brings us to number 1, and honestly, number 1 isn't a single plant. It's the soil underneath all 16 of them. Drainage is the single biggest factor in whether any drought-tough perennial actually survives its first year. Get that right, and almost everything on this list takes care of itself from there. So if you're staring at a yard that's baked, forgotten, or just plain difficult, this list is your starting point. Pick 2 or 3, get the drainage right, and give them one full season to settle in before you judge the results.